Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Holt End Talks. I'm your host for today's episode, Scott Acton, joined by Jamie Acton, and Aaron Acton is back with us today. How are we?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very good.
Yeah, good. Like I said, as he's back with us, he ain't done a show for a while, so it'd be good to get his input. We're going to do a show on the current squad, give our opinions on a few of the rumours that are kicking about early in the window, what we think we need from the window, and maybe for a few names out there at the end to who we'd like to see us maybe go for, realistic or unrealistic, we'll see. So what I've done is I've got the squad list off the website, so it does still include the loan players that we've had this season. We'll just go through position. So obviously goalkeepers first, the big one being obviously Martinez. I mean, I suppose the big question is, does he stay or does he go? Jay, I'll go to you first. What do you think?
Well, I'd keep him. Like I've said before, I think he's our best player. I think he's our only true world class player as well. See, obviously, I want him to stay, but we live in a world of PSR where right now his value is probably at its highest. It's probably not going to get much higher than what it is now. So do you cash in now and bring in it's a younger goalie for less? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. But if it were me, I'd keep him and look to offload someone else elsewhere.
Has he?
Yeah, same. I'll keep him. It's not just obviously his experience as well, but his what he offers to the defence as well. Obviously, having a goalkeeper behind you can rely on is massive, isn't it? So yeah, 100%
Yeah.
keep him. Um, if we had to sell for PSR reasons, would you really sell him? I don't think you would personally, but
I think as well, like obviously a lot of talk's been made about him having a poor season, but you think apart from Esri, that whole back line has been changing the whole season. So it is going to be hard when you're playing in front of you only got one recognised kind of defender in front of you, and you don't really know the other three keep chopping and changing.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good next season if we can have more of a settled back four. Yeah, you chop and change maybe for Europa League, etc. But in the league, having that set back four, I think would help our defensive output a lot.
Yeah. I mean, he's 32 now, which is still relatively young for a goalkeeper. So, I mean, I've seen they're saying maybe 25, 30 million. If we did sell him, I'd be disappointed if that's all we could get for him.
Yeah, I would have said, I remember we had this conversation before, I said around 40, 45, I think, for me.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
I think, I mean, I saw about Mike Maignan going to Chelsea, and that's for 15 million. But he's in the last year of his contract, but it's just like, you see, and like Kepa, he went for five. I know that was a clause, but it's just like, I don't know if it's just something with goalies, like they're just significantly undervalued. I don't know what it is, but I definitely don't see Emmy being a £25 million player.
No, me neither. So if we had it our way, we're putting him in the keep category.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Are we doing this from our perspective, or like a logic, or like how Emery would see it, or like are we just doing it?
I think we'll do it from ours because let's be
Okay.
honest, you never really know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
So we'll
that's
just
what I
do
was.
it
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
from how we think. Robin Olsen, I don't think much needs to be said. I think he's obviously looks like he's leaving.
He's already gone.
Has he already gone?
Yeah,
Yeah, he went the day after the
Oh, there you
United
go.
game.
So
Malmo they put a picture of him straight away.
I
He
wasn't
was
sure when
gone.
he was going. Yeah,
Yeah, no, he's already. Yeah, he was. Yeah, there's pictures put up of him in a Malmo kit, literally the day
yeah,
after.
yeah. We won't say much about him. We've obviously got Ziyech. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Zyke, innit?
Might stick
Oliver
around.
Zyke.
Is it Zyke or what? Yeah. I imagine he'll stay around as the third choice. Joe Gauchi as well. I'm gonna say he probably goes out on another loan.
I think like Gouch is an interesting one. Like he started, obviously he went to Barnsley and he started the first game for him, got man of the match, and then I
He
then
hasn't
didn't
really
I
played a
didn't
lot. Yeah,
he didn't play a lot since, and then he was starting for Australia, and then they played 2 days ago and he was on the bench again there. And I saw he done an interview and he kind of said that he doesn't know what the situation is with Emi, but he said if Emi was to go, then he'd like to stay and fight for his place. But like to me, it's just like you're in a major European competition. You're trying to get Champions League football. Do you want someone in your goal that can't break into Barnsley's team and can't get the number one spot in
Yeah,
Australia?
there's no way in a month of Sundays that Joe Gauchi's
Mm.
Villa's number 1 next season.
Yeah,
Not a
no.
chance.
Yeah, that's just kind of the impression he was giving off on the interview.
Yeah, I mean he's got to have ambition, but he's far too early into his development to be thinking he can be number 1.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
Right, we're going to defenders. This is probably an interesting one, but Matty Cash. Azzy, I'll go to you first.
I like Matty Cash. I know he gets slated quite a lot by Villa fans, but I'm in favour of Cash. 100% keep him. I would probably buy another right back to fight with him. But yeah, there's no way I would sell him. He goes back a lot, but you don't know what he's getting told by Emery, do you? Do you know what I mean? So,
You see the
Yeah,
goal he scored for Poland.
yeah, good goal,
yeah,
wasn't
Like
it?
it's
very
just
good goal.
whenever he goes forward, like and he puts balls in the box, they're always good deliveries, and it's just like I know what you mean. You don't know what he's getting told, but it is frustrating to watch because when he does go forward, his finishing is pretty decent for a right back.
Well, he started off as
Yeah,
a winger, didn't he? So he's
Yeah.
obviously got that trait. Yeah, 100% keep for me.
Joe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not the greatest lover of Cash, but I feel like towards the end of the season, he did, you know, take away the United game. He was one of our best players in that running. It's like as he said, it is frustrating to watch with him. He does cut back a lot, and it's just if you sell him, how much you're going to get for him, and then who you realistically going to bring in because we brought in Garcia. The Delkovic looks like he's going Leipzig, but that hasn't actually gone through yet. So again, you don't know what's going to happen. For me, I mean, I wouldn't mind keeping Cash around as long because I'd be happy with Garcia and Cash kind of being the two, but he seemed to favour towards the end of the season Cash. But because I like Garcia a lot, so yeah. No, to be fair, again, I don't think the market is that great at right backs in my opinion. So it's just who you're going to bring in that can be better than either of them right now. It'd be hard, especially with our restricts on PSR and that. So I think to be safe, I'll probably keep as well.
Yeah, I would say it's a position we could upgrade if you got maybe 25 million for him.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
I'd probably cash in on him. Excuse the
But then,
pun.
but then it's
Um,
like who you're gonna bring in to an extent that's like kind of my point because like a lot of people are saying we've been linked with Dumfries for years, but I
yeah,
can't see
that's
that
never
one.
happened.
I can't see that
I've
happening.
got I've got a couple of names in my ideal window that I will throw at you later on
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
for
The
that
only good thing
position.
Cash does offer you is if we needed to be, you can cover it right wing. So it's like you can play two positions as well. More like an all-round player as well, isn't he? Not just a right back.
Yeah,
You know what we done? Sorry to go on a bit, but you know what we done? Sometimes we had Luka Dean left back and Matson as the left midfielder. You could do that with
Cash.
Garcia and Cash, or even if you had
yeah.
You had Esri and then Cash ahead. Like again, if you subbed Cash on and putting him there, like to see out a game or whatever.
He definitely done that more when he first come in, Emery. They not seem to have done it as much recently, playing Cash a little bit further forward. Do you think that first game, was it the start of last season when he scored a brace against Burnley?
Yeah,
I
he
think
was on the right, wasn't
he was
Yeah.
obviously playing higher. All right, well, I'm going to put him in the cell for me, but he gets to stay for the 2 votes. We won't stay long on Disassi. I'm guessing we're all in the agreement. He goes back to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Enough said on that, really. Um, I'll put Contra and Mings in the same category just because obviously Ty signed a new deal now, so he's not going anywhere, and we're probably all in agreement that Contra is the main man of the back four.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
100%.
fucking goat.
Yeah, yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it for years, and I know you two both agree, but yeah, he's just class, and Mings deserved a new contract, really, didn't he?
Yeah, I think as well. Like, I think since he signed his deal, a lot of stats have been going about. He hasn't lost a Premier League game this season. If you look, barring that Bruges game, I can't remember. I think he made a few errors in the Palace Cup game, but again, that was his first game back from injury. He made an error in that friendly in Dubai, but apart from that, he's been, when it's mattered, he's been faultless. And I feel like there's a stigma around Mings, like not from the Villa fans, but more so the wider kind of football fans, where they hear the name Mings and I think I'd say for sure that Mings is better than Dan Burn, but I feel like if you were to say that to the wider footballing audience in England, they'll be like, oh no way, like I feel like Mings has played down a lot, which again suits us because that's how Ezri was for years, and you look how he is now.
Mings, yeah, I'm in one of my work WhatsApp groups. The minute we talk about Villa, they just bring up Mings and say shite, which I feel isn't
I have
unfair.
it all the time. Like obviously, a lot of my mates are Tottenham and Liverpool. They all support one of the clubs from the Big Six, and they'll always be like, if I have the argument that like we're better than you, but they'll be like, how can you be better than us when you got Tyrone Mings at the back? It's like, you know what I mean? But like you have to watch him and you see all the defensively, he's probably like in the air and out centre half. He's probably the best one we got in terms of like just defensive structure. Without him, you sure as hell know you're missing him.
It's his positional, and he's very good at positioning himself in the right place.
100%.
Right, we'll go on and I'll put these two together. Matson and Garcia. I mean, I think all three of us do like Garcia. Matson, I think, is probably now first choice left back because he was putting in good performances towards the end of the season. The only thing I would say if we brought in a right back, would Garcia benefit from a loan? But I think we'd all say he probably should stay around and be back up to Cash or said right back if we change that position.
All depends,
I
if you bring a right back in.
I would probably loan Garcia out regardless, just for his development and how he gets on playing every. I know he played quite a lot before we brought him, but I don't know. Emery didn't seem to like him. I don't know if you noticed some few games he was playing a pass and Emery was waving his hands. I don't think he's got the right way of playing for Emery yet. So I think a loan might suit him. But then obviously that means that Collins is our cover for right back when it happens.
Yeah. Jay, what do you own? I know you probably want to keep him.
Yeah, no, well, for me, I think he'd be my first choice. For me, I think he's brilliant. That's just because I like attacking fullbacks. I think it's exciting. That's why I prefer Matson. But yeah, no, if we brought another right back in, logically speaking, it would make sense to loan him out because he is still raw. But I would only loan him out if we got another right back in, just because obviously Ezri's our best defender. We haven't got another right foot centre half. So,
yeah.
But again, we'll probably get onto that more a bit later on because I know right centre half is a position we're looking at as well.
You've obviously got Kesler Hayden coming back as well.
Yeah.
Well, I would say he's obviously going to get sold to either a low-end Premier League team or a high Championship team. I think he obviously cleared up with all the awards at Preston. He he's not sticking around at Villa.
As soon as after their awards night, when it all went out that he like says he swept up all the awards, he it literally came out a few days after saying that he's already been told that he's going. Like he's just being sold for PSR concerns. So
yeah, it's pure profit. It wasn't going to be mega money, but you might get I don't know 5-8 million.
Yeah.
Right, Bogard again won't touch too much. He signed a new deal. It's one of them. He might get some more games because it's Europa League for us, but I'm guessing all three of us would keep him as well.
Yeah. I'd have him in the loan personally for me, just because of our depth in midfield, and especially if we bring in another right centre half.
Okay.
But I wouldn't sell him.
Yeah. The other two that I've got here is Torres and Luca Dean. Ilin Jr. is obviously in that bracket, but we don't really know what's going on with him. Powell and Luca Dean. Azzy, them two?
I like them both. I think Digny has come on a lot this season. I know it sounds weird because obviously he's above 30, but he's played differently to how he has been this season. I think he's been one of our better players this season. But like you said earlier, Matson, the last few games when he's come in, seems to. I prefer Matson over Digney myself, but Digney's more better defensively. And obviously, well, all depends which formation he's going to play. I would probably, if we had to sell, Digney might be on top of my list, just for bringing money in and the age, and having Matson there as a ready-made first teamer.
He's on big wages as well, isn't
Mm.
he? Yeah. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, with Luca Dino, obviously we know what the crackers regarding PSR. So yeah, again, 1 year, 12 months left in his deal, I'd probably sell as well. If we weren't, like if we weren't so tight with the money situation at the minute, like as he said, he has come on. Like he's probably one of our best players this year. He's come on leaps and bounds from from years prior. So if we weren't so tight on money, I don't know what his contract situation is, but if you had like an option for a year contract extension, maybe. But like I said at the start, how we know for sure we are with money, it wouldn't surprise me if he is one to kind of make way.
Yeah, I mean, if you went into next season with them two again, you'd have no issue with it. I just think his wages are too high. I think he's got 2 years left on his deal, so if you're going to sell him, this is the year to do it. But this season he's back playing for France. He's
He started today.
started off the season really well. So yeah, just Pau Torres, I think is obviously probably in the keep section. As much criticism as he gets from some of our dads. um, I don't think he's going anywhere under Emery. Emery's never getting rid of him.
I don't think he
No,
is, but I prefer Mings over Torres. So in that
Yeah,
case, Torres ain't going to want to be a backup player. So me personally, I would sell.
Joe.
I'd keep just purely based on the fact that he's he's our only defender that can actually make a line breaking pass. I think in possession, I feel like if you're against a low block, I'd rather have a Torres playing probably rather than any other centre half we got. Just because I feel that goes for most centre halves in the Premier League. Everyone plays it quite safe, whereas like I said, we saw for the Duran goal for Bayern Munich, no one else can make that pass apart from Torres. So I'd keep, and again, like Europa League, we're going to be playing lots of teams that are going to sit in. We need to try and we need to try find an opening some way. So yeah, I'd keep the only way I'd ever see Emery getting rid of him is if there was talk of Real Madrid, maybe coming in for him. Obviously, they went with that Dean Howson instead, but yeah, I think that's the only way he goes if a club out of nowhere, a big club, European club comes in and offers 50, 60 million. If not that, then I can't see a world where Emery sells him.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that pretty much has the defenders. Courtney House is still on that list, but we won't even talk about him.
But his
Um,
contract expires this year, won't
I don't know if it's this year. I didn't actually look, but it's got to be obviously either this year or next. But
I remember he scored that header at Old Trafford, and we were like, "Oh my God, we're like he's the second coming of McGrath." And then the week after, it was an international break, and then we had Tottenham, and he got skinned by Son, and I was like, "Oh God." I was like,
nah,
no, it's back to normal.
yeah, the less said about that one, the better.
Yeah.
Um, well, on to midfield. Right, we've got obviously McGinn, Tielemans, Kamara, Rogers. I'm gonna throw in the bracket of we're all gonna keep them four if it was down to us. I know there's been links with Yuri, there's been linked with Rogers. Kamara's still not signed a contract. McGinn, I can't see going anywhere. Do you want to touch on any of them four, either of you?
No,
No,
100% people thought.
I think for me, keep them all. Again, the only way any of them go is if well, probably Byron McGinn, but for Yuri, Boober, or Rogers, the only way I think Emery sells them if it's above and beyond a mega sort of transfer
Yeah,
fee.
I think this. I mean, we're just on all three of them because I think the same. It would take an astronomical bid. I mean, just give me a figure for each three that you would feel would be acceptable. We'll go with Rogers, then we'll go Tielemans, then we'll go Kamara. As
Uh,
If I had to sell?
If you had, if I don't know, Chelsea or Arsenal bid for Rodgers or Saudi bid, like what would
Uh,
you say? What would you be happy with?
75 million, Rodgers. Boomer Kamara.
75.
Yeah, to
I
accept
think
it.
that's low. Keep going. No,
Well,
you give it all three, and then we'll go.
Boomer,
We'll do ours.
For me, Kamara is our best outfield player along with Konza. So again, 75 million for Kamara. Tillemans, you're talking 60 to 80 million.
Jay,
Um, yeah, I mean, is this what we think, or how much it would, like we reckon Emery would or Villa would sell for?
what if it come through? I don't know. Breaking news on Sky Sports. Blah blah blah. If you saw, what figure would you be happy with?
Oh, would I? Yeah, Booba and Euro probably say 65, 70. And then yeah, Rogers up there in the hundreds for me. I'll probably say anywhere from 90 to 105, something like that.
Yeah, I think Rodgers has to be over 90. If it was 75, like, I just think that's too low with his potential. He just um, Tielemans and Kamara. Yeah, I think you're probably both right to bracket that between
The thing is
the
with
60
Rodgers,
and
and we said it before, for 60, 70 minutes of a match, he doesn't do anything. Obviously, what he does do in them 20 minutes is obviously sometimes like fucking up there with the best. But if you got offered 75 to 80 million with Rodgers, I think you can go out there and buy the same similar person for 75 million, 80 million.
no, I'm not having it.
I think as well, obviously Emery loves him to pieces as well, doesn't he?
He plays every single minute of every single game.
I think we were said like we said a few times, didn't we? You got Esri, Martinez, Tielemans, and Rogers. They just play all the time, and no matter what, they're always the ones playing. It's just you fit around that, don't you? That's what Emery seems to do anyway.
I would say that you'd put him in the bracket of an Eze and then Buemo, them kind of players.
Yeah, but
But
so
his numbers aren't too dissimilar,
no,
and he's a
but
lot he's a lot younger.
his numbers were actually better than what I actually thought they were. To be fair, towards the end of the season, Rodgers. But then you think Grealish was 100 million. Do you think at this stage now is he better or worse than Grealish?
No, but Grealish, uh, you've now had Grealish, Declan Rice, Caicedo all go for 100 million.
I think
Um,
Anthony was bought for 80, wasn't he?
and you're talking about obviously attacking players and the potential of a Rodgers because he's
Yeah,
only
no
what,
one's paying
23.
100 million for Rodgers, are they? Come off it.
No, I'm not. Listen, if I'm just saying that's what I would want.
I
You
think
know,
I think as well it came out from the Athletic because obviously Chelsea and Arsenal apparently are sniffing around him, and they said they view him unsellable. The only way they're going to sell him is around the £100 million mark. So that's probably why they've kind of set that bar so high because if someone's going to have to, like he just says, as if someone's going to have to, no one's going to pay that money. So if someone wants him, they're going to have to do that at the end, didn't
yeah, it's going to need a big offer.
they? Yeah.
Marlon and Barkley. Obviously Marlon's not going to go anywhere after being sold in January. Probably a disappointing 6 months for him in some aspects, but he's shown a lot of good stuff. Barkley, I think Emery's come out and said he's not going anywhere. Happy that both of them obviously stay. Slightly different situations, but big season for Marlon in particular. Jay, I'll come
Yeah,
to you first.
I actually
Yeah,
thought. Oh, sorry, go on, Jack.
I actually thought, no, yeah, Marlon would, yeah, like I said, since January he's gone, he hasn't really got his opportunities, and when he has, he's been superb. So I will hopefully see a bit more of him next year. And Barkley, yeah, I mean, I like Barkley just because, when he sits deep, I feel like he's almost like for like player to Tielemans. I mean, he's not a Tielemans, he's not close to Tielemans, but some games where it look like where we're maybe struggling to get on the ball, or even when someone's sitting deep to try and exploit it. If you've got, the two midfielders you want on the pitch is probably Barkley and Tielemans. If you've got Booba and Arna and Barkley, and you need to try shuffle the opposition's block about, you'd probably put Barkley on ahead of them two, wouldn't you? So, yeah, no, I'd keep him about. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anything to add to that?
No, I'll keep them both. The only thing you got to look at is, I know Marlon's only been there for 6 months, but for him himself, he might want a move just because of the lack of playing time he's actually got. And then say, yeah, Barkley, same as Jay, really. Obviously, when he first come in, Emery used him, didn't he, the last 15, 20 minutes of the game just to keep hold of the ball, and actually done a pretty good job. So I would keep them both.
Yeah. We'll go. I've got Bailey, JJ, and Anana left. Now there's been a bit of talk about obviously all three. Bailey looks like he's going off to Saudi. I think you put in Jay about maybe getting more money than maybe what it was reported that we're getting. I think it's about 25 million.
The round,
Um, Anana, obviously there was a few loose links linking him to Saudi. And I think JJ obviously gets a few links because of the PSR link, and it's obviously 100% profit. I'll run through all three of them. Jay, I'll go with you first. Just keep sell on all three.
I would obviously sell Bailey.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to have to sell one big person this year, and I've kind of said that. I'd have JJ as that one, just because pure profit, and we're looking for a left winger apparently. So yeah, I'll probably have JJ as sell. But again, if he was with us still, then it come August, then I wouldn't complain. Onana, I'm so torn about because I mean he's frustrating for me. I think we bought him for £50 million. He's our record signing, and he doesn't get in our best 11 in my opinion. So it's frustrating. A good end of the season, I'll admit that. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, if he left, I wouldn't be too concerned.
Yeah.
For me, I'd probably sell JJ and sell Bailey, and obviously there'd be your two that goes. So we'd be able to keep Onana.
Azzy?
Yeah, sell Bailey 100%. Just so that, how much do we pay for Bailey? I can't remember now.
30,
About
yeah,
30,
30,
wasn't
wasn't
it?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get much back on that, are you? When you sell them, what you said, 25 million. Onana, if we got offered the money, I would take it. So I think we have got enough in there that can cope. And Ramsey, I would keep, unless you got offered a good amount of money. Obviously, it's 100% profit. I would keep him. If it's a case of we have to sell someone for PSR reasons, then I would understand why they would sell JJ. But personally, I would keep him.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it last year in our Villa chat that when Louise was getting linked with leaving, that I would have rather got rid of JJ. I don't think you get as much money as you probably think you would now, but like he's such a good player, but his numbers aren't the best. And you
Mm-hmm.
can, some people will say it's not all about the stats and it's more about the eye test, but he should be delivering more goals and assists to his game.
Well, you should be putting up what Rodgers is putting up, really.
Well, it's like Rodgers has gone to the next level and JJ's kind of plateaued out in the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, really.
But you
And
look
that
when we
that
qualify
might just
for,
be his level.
like you look when we qualify for the Conference League. That run in there, the goal away at Anfield. He got 2 assists when we beat Brighton on the final day, like the Newcastle game. He was at the forefront of everything, and he only got injured in the Euros and the 21s, didn't he? The England
Yeah,
21s, and then he came back at that Legia Warsaw game, and he was last year he played not he didn't get no football really. But I think like with me it's frustrating because Emery loves a ball carrier. He is that. So take away Rodgers, he's probably our best ball carrier. So yeah, it's frustrating one again. Like if we sold Onana and kept Ramsey, then I wouldn't. I'd be happy with that because with JJ that you can see it's there. It's just that final bit. He had it in that run in for the Conference League, but it just seemed to go off a bit.
yeah,
But yeah, like part of me thinks, maybe one more season to see, because it's the romantic aspect of it as well. Being a homegrown lad, a local lad, a fan. We like it with Jack. We like it with Gabby. It's the same thing. You want, if anyone in the team you want to score a goal or do well as a whole, it'd be JJ. Because he's just like us. He's living the dream. So yeah, it's a hard one, but I do think definitely it'd be him or an Onana or something like that. Someone of that ilk is going to have to go, from what the reports say anyway.
Yeah. That's the time. I think last season Emery said no, he's not for sale, didn't he? But we will wait and see. That's it for the midfielders. Just on the forwards, it was literally Watkins and Rashford that were on the squad list on the website. Very unlikely that Rashford stays now. And Ollie, I mean, I would keep him. I think he gets a lot of harsh criticism, but you're doing very well to find a player better than Ollie. What are you two saying?
I'd keep him 100%. He gets a lot of stick from the Villa fans, not from me personally. He's just his work rate and the way he goes about it. Yes, he does need sometimes 2-3 chances in the game to score a goal, but look at his goal and assist ratio since he's been at Villa. It's up there as, was it like top 3 in the Premier League, isn't it? So it's not only replacing the goals, it's also replacing the assists that he's got as well. So yeah, 100% keep Watkins.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, no, I'll keep him. Probably the most frustrating player and most the most debated player in the Villa squad. It's like as he said there. He needs 2, 3, 4 chances to score one. I look back at the Arsenal game. He had like the first home game of the season, just off the top of my head. He missed He missed a lot of chances that day. But then you sell him for 45, 50, and then who are you going to get with that money to replace his output? Because it's not just the goals, it's the assists, it's the work rate. He can occupy a back three, a back two. So yeah, no, I'd keep him. And again, we'll go on to it a bit later on, but when we talk about the transfer rumours, I'm sure you've got players there that I have, attacking players I have in my mind also. But this year it felt like if it weren't, before Asensio coming in, if it weren't him, it was Rodgers feeding him, and if it weren't Rodgers, there was no one, because Bailey obviously went off the boil. JJ's had a poor season. McGinn is never going to be that supplier. So I feel like if we had a front four of Watkins, Rodgers, you're saying like a Marlon or someone you're going to mention later on, it's like that supply line gets much greater. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, again, he needs 3 chances to score one, but those chances will become a lot more frequent, if that makes sense. So I'd keep him. Again, you're not going to find a better player that can do what he does for 50 million. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can't really argue with it. He's now got the record. You can't argue with that. All right, that wraps up the squad. I think we're all kind of in agreement on a few, and mixed on a few as well. I've written down some rumours. Now, there's about 100 million fucking transfer rumours already from Villa. So I'm just, most of these are attacking players. I'll start with Asensio, and just would you buy him, yes or no?
No.
Jay?
No.
Oh, I was in the yes camp, but I'll just stand there by myself. A lot of the other rumours so far are wingers, and I've written down Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho, Grealish. Any of them realistic? And out of the 3, 4, who would you like? Jay?
Sancho's a no-go for me. Stay away from that fucker. Rashford I love Rashford. I thought like he was brilliant for us when he came in January. He just gets you off your seat. We haven't had that since Jack, but obviously the wages are a problem. His First choice is Barcelona. I think it's quite obvious. But I feel like the longer the window goes on, the more it suits Villa if we were to go in for him because he's going to move. He's not going to stay there, so he's going to move at some. He has to move. So if it goes on and on and on, and he gets to mid to late, well, whenever when's the transfer window end? End of August still? Or,
Oh, I don't actually know. So
well, whenever.
confusing now with it
Yeah,
shutting,
always
opening, shutting, open.
they always change it. Well, now the Club World Cup, I know they're changing it again. But whenever it ends, if you're in those final 2 weeks, 10 days, and he's still at United, maybe obviously the 40 million's still there because that ain't going to change. But maybe the wages he'll drop considerably. Garnacho I like as well. I've always rated him. Whenever he plays against us, he seems to tear us a new one every single time. So again, I'll go for him. But I think United wanted 60 million. I wouldn't pay no more than 40, 45 for me personally. And then Grealish, I mean, talking from again, similar, talking from like a romance perspective, it's, similar with JJ, for him to come back and, to lift a trophy, it's just, it'll be mad to kind of see. I mean, it hasn't worked. It depends on where you look at it. From a personal perspective, he's won everything. But I guarantee that if he was to come back to Villa, he'd say to himself, I haven't enjoyed my football as much as this since I last left. It's just I remember that Newcastle behind closed doors season. We won 2-0, and Dino took him off with like 4 minutes to play or something like that, and he was causing a strop
Yeah,
on the bench. He looked like he was going to cry, didn't he? And now,
yeah,
I mean, he got 1 goal and 1 assist, I think, this season in the league. So, and it's Emery's bread and butter, that isn't it? If you take Grealish or Villa away from it, a player that is on the down low, he can bring in and make him, like half of that Villarreal squad were Premier League players that he had Coquelin, you had Ramfoy, like players that just were dead and buried, and then he just seems to rejuvenate their careers, and that's what I know that's what he'd do with Grealish. But no, it'd be nice. I said that obviously, if you're looking at those three players, I feel like we could get one. If say like I said, we get a Rashford in those final 2 weeks of the transfer window, and then maybe you get like a loan with Grealish with an option to buy for the following year, maybe. Because I know Fabrizio said that a loan is probably most likely, just because his wages are obviously quite hefty. But no. So Sancho's a no for me. Garnacho, again, I wouldn't mind, but not for the fee that apparently is being reported. But Rashford would be my number one. And I wouldn't mind a Grealish on loan with an option to buy.
yeah. Azzy.
I'm Grealish. Grealish one. So Grealish back. I think it would be good for him and good for us, especially having that squad that we got now, and if Emery can get the Grealish that we know out of him. Rashford, I don't think he'll come, just more for the wages side, and I think he'll want Champions League football. And I actually would pick Sancho ahead of Garnacho. I can't stand Garnacho. And on his day, Sancho weren't too bad, I don't think, this season on the actual whole. He just hasn't been given the run of games, has he? You know what it's like when you're coming in and out of the squad every 4 or 5 games. So for me, Grealish 1, Rashford 2, Sancho 3, and Garnacho 4.
The thing is, like, whoever we bring in, like, even if it is Sancho, I back Emery to make him into like some world class winger, like he was at Dortmund. Like, Emery, I can't think of a player that's come in and has been worse, since Emery, like, if an Emery signing, So, I mean, he improves everyone. So again, Sancho is the bottom of that list for me. But if you brought Sancho in, I wouldn't be like, oh God, here we go again. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I know that give him a few months, Emery will get him firing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Grealish one is obviously an interesting one, and because if you think how Jack would play coming in on the inside and letting Matson go on the outside, like we saw how good Jack was when he had bloody Matt Target doing the overlap for him. So that would be an exciting thing to see. I like Garnacho. I think Did I put him top of my list when we were talking about earlier in the week? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he always looks dangerous, but he does need to work on his end product. I think the other three have got better end product than he has.
So it's just another Ramsey.
But he has a lot. Probably his ceiling right now is probably higher than the other three because of his age again.
That's the thing I was saying about Watkins with the supply line, and if you have what we were doing towards the end of the season, we had Rodgers and Asensio being the two tens. If you have Rodgers on the right, like narrow right, and Grealish on narrow left behind Watkins would have a field day. That's the amount of chances that we create a lot of chances as it is, but if we had Jack in our team, it'd be unbelievable.
I think we're going to be an attacker down. So whether Asensio signs and that means that Rodgers out on the right with Asensio and then someone on the left, or Asensio doesn't sign and it's maybe Marlon / McGinn on the right, Rodgers as the 10, and then someone out on the left. We obviously do need to freshen up in the wide area, so I would expect one winger to come in. I don't know which one. I've got another name. Actually, I've got two names in them said positions that I would like us to go for. You can probably guess one of them. But yeah, well, there is a couple of other links, but we won't really touch on them because they're younger players. We'll finish up on just give me the positions that you both feel we need. Jay, I'll start with you first. Just if you could strengthen the starting 11, what positions would you be looking at? And I don't know, you can have one, you could have four. It's up to you.
Yeah. So I'd have left winger be a number one priority for me.
Yeah.
Or just someone maybe to play off Ollie, because you could put Morgan out on the left maybe, or whatever you want to do, but predominantly left winger. That would be my clear number one. That would be the only one in my head that I think, but that's just because I rate Garcia so highly. That would be the only one that I would personally have for the starting 11. You have depth. You have, cover ones would have if Luca Dean goes left back, we have to get a goalie in probably regardless. If Olsen's gone, Martinez looks like he's going. A lot of talk about a right back as well, so it wouldn't surprise me if we get a right back. But for me, left winger is the number one priority for me.
Has he?
Number 10. We've got, obviously, I prefer Rodgers at number 10, but Emery seems to throw him out wide, doesn't he? But yeah, just the number 10, especially if we're not going to obviously sign Asensio. We've got quite a few options out wide. Obviously, number one would be number 10, and then it'll be a winger. Defensively, I think we're fine. Obviously, if we have to sell a player, we're going to have to replace them. Same with the goalkeeper. Wouldn't touch our midfield. So yeah, number 10 and a winger for me.
Yeah.
We haven't taken into account that the João Felix link started yet. That's going to start. Don't worry about
He can
that.
get fucked.
It's going to come about though. It always comes about.
We'll do it at some point. I've put down winger, maybe a centre forward, goalkeeper ? Obviously on Emmy, but we do need a number 2, and then right back, right centre back. But I also think if Luca Dean goes, we'll probably need a backup left back, unless someone like Nilin Jr. comes in to cover. But the winger, I mean, I'll tell you the names I've put down. And again, tell me what you think. But I think if Emmy goes, obviously Chevalier or whatever his name is from,
Yeah.
Him, I think would probably looks the most realistic.
The French guy.
Yeah, that may. I've put down Eze and Gibbs White as the two that I would like us to try. I think Eze is probably more achievable, but I would love us to sign Eze. Gibbs White as well. I just think he's class. Whether he'd want to come to Villa because of the Wolves connection, I don't know. And the other two I'm going to throw out is Anya from Forest, because I think he's on a free.
Yeah.
Had a really good season at right back for them, and can also cover a left back. and I have seen this link recently, but Joe Gomez from Liverpool, because I feel like he can play right back and right centre back.
Play left back as well, actually, as well. Like he covered for Liverpool left back a lot as well.
Quite injury prone. That is obviously the downside. Any names that you two want to throw out that you think you would like us to go for?
If we had to sign number 10, and obviously there's been no links whatsoever, but one I think realistic is Arda Güler from Real Madrid, the youngster.
Joe?
Yeah, so touch on that Arda Güler one. I remember in January, because I remember Ancelotti weren't playing him, didn't
Hey,
play him.
Jay, stop. It just stopped recording. It stopped recording and started re-recording again.
God, what bit was that?
Literally, it just started. Just come off my thing. We had to stop recording. I think it's
Oh,
because my
okay.
headphones died.
Oh,
My head,
maybe.
it's still saying we're recording on mine, Scott.
Yeah, because it's back to 20 seconds.
I'll just
And
ramble on anyway.
mine's still on 46 minutes.
Oh no, mine stopped.
Mine's still going.
It says mine.
46:20.
You
All right,
fucked
well
up.
we'll see what happens.
No.
Well, I don't even
What
know what I was
bit?
going to say. Go on.
I was on Arda. No, like Monchi said about Arda Güler. Said that, oh yeah, like Ancelotti ain't playing him, so we could all look like we've told him that we're open sort of to it. But obviously you got Xabi going there now, so Xabi Alonso. So I don't think you won't see many outgoings, in my opinion, from Real Madrid this summer. The Gibbs White one, I'm not sure on, just because first season Europe for a while for Forest. Eze one, I'd love us if we signed Eze. I mean, us two spoke about him on that way up to the semi-final with other Palace fans, and I think he's one of those just mavericks that you don't really see often. Yeah, I'd have him. But yeah, like I said, the left wing is the main one, and I'd said Rashford would be my number one. He can cover multiple positions. Again, a striker, sorry, number 9. If Ollie was to go, but it's just all if buts and maybes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that'll probably do us. We might have had a few technical issues at the end. We'll have to wait to load this.
Only you.
Yeah, mine's on 2 minutes, so we'll have to just wait and see.
What minute does yours say at the minute? Mine's on 47:53.
Mine's on
What's yours on, Scotty?
2 minutes.
2? Oh no, we're cooked. We're done.
We're just waiting to see. One of you two might have to send a recording to me, but we'll we will do another episode. You two might have to do one next week because I am about to have a baby. So
that's a shit excuse, by the way.
mate,
that's worse than bad back, that is.
I can't really do one from inside the hospital. So yeah, that is my excuse for a few days. But at the moment, there isn't too much happening. We'll try and stay on top of it and put an episode out each week. But nice to have you back, and Jay, see you as always, and up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Good luck Tuesday.